Hi there. We all do it, don't we? We take photographs and we don't always look at what's in the background, or sometimes there's something in the scenery we can't do anything about. The photograph that I want to use for one of my mixed media projects has got a beautiful sunset. It's got some of my family in silhouette on it, but there was a bush that was just in the wrong place, and one of the figures, the hair had blown down, and I wanted to remove that as well. So I'm going to show you how I use the clone stamp tool to get rid of some of the background images that I don't want. I also just painted over a little bit, so I'll show you how I did that too. Hope it's of use to you. Thank you for watching. So there we go. How to get that clutter from photographs that you don't want. This is my original photograph, and this is what it looks like after I've been playing around with it. So the first things first, in Photoshop Touch, when you've opened the application, at the bottom of the screen you'll see a plus button. Click that and click OK, and that just gives you a blank screen to start working on. I want to import a photograph from my camera roll. So you click on the picture that looks like a photograph in the top bar. That takes you to some choices. You can go to albums or moments or whatever. I tend to just use the camera roll, it's easier. Select the picture that you want, OK it, and it'll import it into that blank screen for you. Now at this point I save my work because my iPad tends to crash. It's getting quite old now and it's quite full as well. So I just save my project at this point, and it does stop it crashing in the future. Don't know why, but it does. So there it is, it's saved. So I just click on it to open it up, and then I'm ready to work on it some more. There's my picture. If you look at the right hand side, so you can see I've got two layers open. I've got the original blank layer and the layer with my photograph on, and I'm adding another layer with a duplicate of the photograph on. If you just go into the add button on the right hand side, you get the choices of what kind of layer you want to add. I wanted another duplicate photograph, so I've done that, and you press done, and you've got two photographs sitting there. I'm going to hide one and work on one. If it all goes terribly wrong, I can just delete one photograph, and I've still got one untouched underneath, which I'll then duplicate again and work on. Now I'm zooming in on my photograph. This is the bit of foliage that I want to get rid of. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the colour from the area around it in the sky, the mountains and the sea, and clone it and just basically paint over it to mask it out. And you'll find the clone stamp tool on the left hand menu that comes down the page. Click on the top, whatever the top shown, and you'll get the choices. And the clone stamp is just that picture of a stamper. So you click on that. You've got the brush, which you can alter the size of. You can alter the opacity, the flow, the hardness. And so here I'm just changing the size of my brush, and I'm going to keep the opacity at 100% because I do want it to cover everything. I don't want any of those leaves being left as a shadow. This button underneath the brush is the source. That will pick up, that's what you're going to pick up and copy. So wherever you click on the picture, once you start painting, you'll start painting wherever that click is. So if I zoom right in on my picture so I can see exactly what I'm doing, I want to get the colour of the sky that's right next to the leaves. So I click the source in the sky there, and now I'm just going to trace over the bush, and you can see it's gradually disappearing. And because I'm cloning the sky, I'm getting all the shape of the clouds and the difference in colours, and it's a beautiful sunset with lots of gradations of colour in the oranges. So I don't want to lose that. It'll be very hard to do that by painting. So by clear stamping, I can keep the variation colour. I keep going back to the source, picking up the source again, and doing a little bit, picking up the source and doing it again. As soon what it's copying tracks with your pen or your stylus or your finger, it doesn't stay stationary. So it is picking up whatever's in the background. So if your source happens to hit a part of the tree, you'll start repainting the tree into the picture. So you've got to keep an eye on where that source, the crosshairs of that source is at all times. So you can see the brush is gradually disappearing. We zoom into 400% so I can see what I'm doing. And I keep doing the source and then cloning it. Click the source, click where you want to pick up the colour from, and then go over the part of the photograph that you want to mask out. So keep repeating that cloning and stamping and dragging it over. The brush is gradually disappearing. Some of the sky is looking a little bit uneven. I'll blend that out later when I've finished doing this. So I'm just having a quick check what it looks like. I'll zoom in again. Use the 2 fingers on the screen and then just stretch them out and you can zoom into 400%. And I'm going to keep on going with that, picking up the source button and then drawing out the tree. I'm just changing the flow and opacity to try and get rid of some of the hard edges where I'm copying the picture into, because there are a couple of hard edges popping up there and they should give a more of a feathered approach, so it'll blend it in better. So I'm going to be carrying on with that clone stamping into the sky to pick up those nice colours. Keep redoing it over and over again, and we're getting rid of that bush slowly and surely. It's being hidden from sight. So I'm playing with the brush size and the opacity and the hardness and flow to try and eliminate any hard edges that I'm getting. So the sky's about done. Now I need to wipe out that hedge that's gone over to the mountains. I did end up removing some of the Cumbrian mountains by mistake, so I had to go back in and put them in again. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people up there who know exactly where the mountains should be in the Lake District, so I didn't want to upset anybody. Now with my left hand, you can't see it there, but between every single stroke I'm hitting that source button and I'm picking up a new source with almost every single stroke to make sure the colour is flowing across there properly. You can see that little white dot that appears, that's the source button, the source of the image that I'm copying over, that I'm cloning across the screen. And we've nearly got it there. I'm just going to get rid of those last little bits of black. Keep adjusting the brush size and the opacity and the hardness and the flow. The mountains in the original photograph are quite blurry, so I try to maintain that look with them. Now if we're looking at the hedge, you can see it looks like it's had a chainsaw across the top of it. So I'm going in now and I'm going to sort the hedge out. At the moment I'm smoothing the sea out because it looked like there was a bit of a rough sea out there, but there wasn't. It was as calm as a mill pond in reality. Just smoothing it out, blurring it with the blur tool, which is down that left hand menu. And you just play with that and see what effects you can get. So, just creating some depth there. Going into the hedge now, and we're just using that clone stamp, and I'm just dragging across the image from the left hand side which hasn't been touched and repeating it over and over again across the top of the hedge to give it a more natural looking feel to the top. And then alright, now it's time to zoom in on the girl's head, and I wanted to remove some of that hair that had fallen down on the right hand side. So again I'm just going to pinch and zoom in on that area of the picture. And to start with, I'm going to use the clone and stamp to get rid of that tendril of hair. So choose the area of the sky that we want to copy, and then I'm just going to drag the brush is far too big, so undo, choose a small brush size, and we'll try again. Choose the source again, and we'll go down, and in a couple of steps we'll repeat that, removing the hair, and it'll gradually get rid of that hair for us. Trying to keep a nice smooth lines. We don't want any misshapen heads in my photographs. Keep changing the source as well, because you never know quite what the iPad's remembered from the picture underneath. So you might get some very unusual edges appear if you're not careful. Now, there were some hard edges from the stamp tool, so I'm just going in with that blur tool and blending them out. Just trying to get rid of all those, feathering those hard edges out of the way. You can see it hasn't quite worked. There's still like a dirty mark. So I thought, right, I'll just paint it out. Go into the paintbrush, colour, and there's a little paint select tool. Click that and drag it across to the colour you want to pick up. It'll automatically change the colour. You don't need to do anything. Just checking my brush to make sure it's got everything there that I want. And I'm just going to paint out that little dirty mark. The sky at that point is the same colour all across, so it's not going to make any difference to the final picture. Just painted it out. And just pick up another colour. And then I just blend it together. I reduce the opacity on the brush so it helps any edges disappear. I'm just overlaying the colours. Keep picking and selecting the colour and then reducing the opacity, and it gets a beautiful smooth finish to the work. Now at some point I must have touched the left hand side of the screen, probably with my finger on my thumb, and I've got what looks like a rogue moon has appeared. Well, it shouldn't be there, so I'm going to paint that out. So zoom in. It does look like it's a moon or something, but it isn't, it's a fingerprint. Again, I'm just going to use the paint select tool, pick up the colour from just next to it and paint it out. I need to improve my opacity, it's right down low, so I'll change my opacity up to 100% and that'll hide it completely. And goodbye moon. And just a final check of the image to make sure I'm happy with it, and it's all done ready for use. Thank you for watching, hope it was of use to you. Bye now.